Since the 27th of October 2024, after the elections for the National Parliament, a few key moments happened. The first moment is that the political party Greatness, or Velicie, was kept under the 4% barrier for entry into the National Assembly, with the embarrassing result of 3.999%, or 29 votes, which were not enough for Velicie to enter the parliament. This raised a lot of suspicion upon all of the voters who voted for Velicie, and a lot of volunteers decided to look through every single video from the counting of all of the ballots in the voting sections. What that led to is an extreme uproar and extreme protests in our country regarding the validity and the election frauds that happened here. All of these people decided to create a system in which all of the signals for every single election fraud and election crime would be structured and sent as an enormous 750-page report to the constitutional courts of Bulgaria, to the president's office, to the National Assembly, to all of the members of parliament, to all the media in Bulgaria as well. And what that constitutional court decided to rule is a period of time for 1,777 election booths to have all of those votes recounted, to open up all of the bags of ballots and to recount the results from each and every one of them to see if there was an actual election fraud. Now, here's what's been happening here in Bulgaria. We are currently the 18th of January 2025. A few days ago, the 51st Parliament of Bulgaria decided to vote for a regular government with 121 plus, which is more than 121 votes, which is more than 50% of the members of parliament, with a few of the political parties, decided to construct a government with a majority of the votes, which still keeps people suspicious on what is going on with the decision of the Constitutional Court, considering that there have been so many election crimes caught by ordinary citizens that have watched the videos of the cameras, and what will be the results of the Constitutional Court if they decide to give an actual decision which is justified by the 750-page report for all the crimes that have been documented and given to the constitutional judges. If they're going to rule for Velicie to enter the National Assembly, which will completely change the mathematics inside for the amount of members of parliament and for how those parliamentary groups will be formed. The Historical Park CEO, Evelyn Mikhailov, who is currently the leader of the political party of Velicie, decided to step down as CEO, and Boyan Petkov, the general manager of Historical Park, to be the current chief executive officer of Historical Park. This allows for Evelyn Mikhailov to politically focus all of his resources and time to show everybody in our country how there have been crimes done to most of the municipalities, including with all the waste and all the garbage that has been thrown into the nature, how all the water supply, how the rivers, how the lakes, how the dams have been drained, how they've been polluted by weak management and by corruption throughout the whole country. Currently, Evelyn Mikhailov doesn't know, and nobody here in Bulgaria knows what the decision will be from the constitutional judges. And instead of waiting for that result, the Velicie party decided to work locally with the people in every single municipality. We're currently getting signals from people from all over the country that have found illegal waste dumps, that have found polluted water supplies. They have found a lot of illegal buildings being allowed by the local municipalities with migrants and minorities living there that have been attached to the water supply systems and that have been attached to the power supplies in that local village or city or town, which increases the electricity bills and the bills for all of the local citizens, just because those people that are living in the illegal construction in the illegal buildings are people that are voting for the local mayors, that are voting for the local political party, and they are kept there to be election slaves. This is a term that is being used here in Bulgaria, that if you decide not to vote for the ruling party GERB or ДПС Novo Начало or БСП, you will be unplugged from the water supply and from the electricity supply if you're living in an illegal building, like most people here in Bulgaria that are in separate neighborhoods like those are currently living. So they're currently voting slaves. They are supposed to vote for whoever they are told to. Otherwise, they'll be kicked out and they will be thrown on the streets with those bills in their name needed to be paid. So we're talking about extreme corruption and fraud here in Bulgaria that is happening. And we are getting more and more news from people from Europe that are learning about this information, because Evelyn Mikhailov decided to organize a press conference in Brussels in which we presented the corruption that is happening in Bulgaria, how the European funds are being stolen through Bulgaria as a laundry machine, because all of the government projects and the European projects that have been approved here locally or on a government level, most of those projects were never constructed, they were never completed. Most of the money was just withdrawn, taken into bags, and have been somehow evaporated. So most of the European tax money has gone missing. And this is just a little element, because the protest that happened in Brussels was something to raise noise in front of the European institutions and for them to start somehow investigating how the mafia in Bulgaria, how these oligarchs that are under the Magnitsky law are currently in power, they're currently in the parliament, and they are the people that are going to dictate the way that the European border is going to be managed. Because right now, Bulgaria is an active border of the European Union. It's a sea border and it's a land border, which has no control when it comes to illegal drugs, illegal trafficking, illegal anything as goods that is entering the European Union. That's all due to the people that are currently in control. So what's happening right now in Bulgaria is that they don't know that whether the political system and the voting system is actually legit because of all the frauds that is happening. The media is being silent. None of the other political parties are somehow shouting for re-elections or to somehow stop the election results and start new elections. So we're looking at a grand scheme of corruption in which I have to say a lot of the Bulgarians that are in the election committees on every single election section are also part of this big scheme. So this is something that people need to start thinking about, whether it's happening in their country as well, because I am absolutely sure that most people that learn about this would start asking themselves, is this happening in their country as well? It's the 21st century, 2025. It's impossible for Bulgaria to be the last country in which all of this can be possible. We can't have Romania, we can't have Greece, we can't have any of the post-Soviet bloc countries already be way ahead economically, and Bulgaria is staying nowhere when it comes to its economical development. We need to start thinking, why is this happening? Like, who are the ones in power? Who are they actually servicing? Like, who are their masters? Like, if the people that are in politics right now happen to be Delian Peevski, Boyko Borisov, some of the people from the Socialist Party that nobody even knows their names and why they're even there. They just seem to be little puppets to Delian Peevski just because they decided to create a government with Boyko Borisov. Everybody knows in Bulgaria that Boyko Borisov is somehow under the power of Delian Peevski. And everybody knows that Delian Peevski owns the courts, he owns the prosecutors, he owns every single person in the internal affairs ministry, the police, the army, the intelligence agencies, the security services. So how is it that this one person who is under the Magnitsky law, who after the Brussels event in which Velicie exposed everything that happened in Bulgaria, how is it that this person is currently in full control of what's going on? Including that the Liberal Party of Europe, ALDE, decided to exclude Delian Peevski and his party DPS Novo na Ciao, how is it that he's still in power? How is it that this person is somehow being followed by so many people? We are asking a question. How is this that this person flies to Dubai in a private plane constantly? We can see it through flight radar based on the tags of his private jet. How is it that this person can just operate with so much money, so much cash? How is it that this person can do all of this? These are questions that we're asking constantly because it seems like we have an absolute approval from the European Union. And if Elon Musk is someone who wants to somehow dictate the politics in Europe, starting from the United Kingdom and afterwards influencing the German political life, like where is it that Bulgarians can actually post and share what is going on here in Bulgaria so that we can have somehow of an outrage on the political scene globally? This is something that has kept our country under the spotlight for so long. Like, we're under the corruption spotlight for so long, being called the most corrupt country in Europe, and it's embarrassing. Like, ordinary citizens, ordinary folks in Bulgaria, they feel embarrassed and ashamed to leave their country because our country has a current image of corruption, of indecency, a country in which people don't have freedom of speech, people don't have free rights, people can't even vote normally without having their votes being stolen. And this is something that we really would like for this to end. And whether Elon Musk decides to somehow tweet about this, somehow share information about this, this would be great, because I don't see any support from anyone in Europe regarding the corruption that's going on in Bulgaria. We're talking about billions of euro that has been completely evaporated from bank accounts in Bulgaria, from money that's been sent from the European Union. There is no result at the end. The result is huge waste dumps, huge problems with water and electricity, a complete disaster when it comes to the roads, a complete disaster when it comes to infrastructure, and you can't see wages going up in Bulgaria. Entrepreneurship has been destroyed. People can't have a business in which they can have revenue of over 1 million euro without getting racketeered by the government agencies. We're talking about absolutely destruction of normal moral standards and normal ways of living. Bulgarians are currently slaves under their own politicians. The people that are in power right now have completely destroyed the will of people to have families, to build a business, to speak out whatever they want to speak out, or to even go and vote. People don't even believe in the voting process anymore. The reason for that is just because of the way that they're destroying and that they're manipulating the votes by embarrassing political parties like Velicie, by racketeering businesses, by destroying businesses. And this is something that is all under the knowledge of the European Union. If we want to analyze the situation in Bulgaria, we have to start from asking these questions to ourselves. The democratic and the liberal community in Bulgaria, they don't want to ask these questions because they're afraid what's going to happen to them. So we would have to definitely take a little bit more responsibility, and as Bulgarians that are in Bulgaria and Bulgarians that are abroad, to start asking these questions, somehow be more involved in this process, because waiting for some new savior to arrive will not happen. As we know, the future of media is people to people. Same way is politics is going to be people to people, because if we're waiting on a specific political party to somehow change the course of action in Bulgaria, the only way for that to happen is if we have regular and absolutely fair elections, something that we do not have right now. So let this be a short political analysis for the past 2 months of what has happened in Bulgaria. In the next few videos, we'll share more about each and every separate political party, what they're doing with the people locally, what they're doing in the parliament, and what is being portrayed in the media for them and about them. Because once you understand the fabrics of politics in Bulgaria, you will figure out how most of politics and most of governing in Europe is happening, and why we are left as the border country of the European Union to have all these crimes absolutely allowed, absolutely not being prosecuted in any way. And if you can answer yourself these questions that we ask, then you can push this forward to every single international media when it comes to institutions as well. And let's find a way to get these people to somehow behave and be more responsible. And some of them actually need to go to jail because they've broken the law. Not only the Bulgarian law, they've broken international law as well. Especially our biggest example is Delampevsky, who is under the Magnitsky law. Let's make sure that everyone in Europe learns about this, somehow raise some noise about Bulgaria, and let's explain to Europe and all the institutions that this cannot keep on going. And if you as Europeans are in some way frustrated that Elon Musk wants to somehow interrupt or somehow be involved in the politics in Europe, well, I think it's about time that you as Europeans should also wake up and start asking questions and start being more civilly active when it comes to the politics and when it comes to what's happening with your money, what's happening with your standard of living. And if Bulgaria is the key to the destruction of the European Union, since it's the border of the European Union, I think this is the first country that needs to be focused on when it comes to fixing, when it comes to organizing, and to finally have some justice for every single citizen in Bulgaria and every single citizen in Europe. Because we are one European Union, we are one family of Europeans, and if you as Europeans don't know this information, don't be surprised that someone from abroad or someone from the other side of the ocean wants to come and fix things just because as Europeans we're sitting ducks and not doing anything. Let's get ourselves in order and let's start asking the proper questions and being more civilly active. These politicians need to be held responsible and accountable for everything that they're doing. And it all starts from Bulgaria, because Bulgaria is the border of the European Union. If we solve Bulgaria, we solve the European Union. Thank you. Fine.